Demogorgon, a major player in the Stranger Things universe, right? These are from the Upside Down, but we never talk about what it's like being a Gorgon, a Demogorgon. What are they going through? What's going on in their new? Now, we've been able to break down all the main characters in this show, and it would be just a travesty to not at least look at what the Demogorgons go through, because their life in the Upside Down is probably very cold, hungry, violent, and not remotely peaceful in any kind of way. Now, the Demogorgons are not just misunderstood forest spirits or noble beasts. These are predatory shock troops in a very hostile ecosystem. And what the show gives us, a Demogorgon's daily life is likely to include like constant sensory overload. The Upside Down is dark, it's cold, spore-filled, biologically super aggressive. Everything pulses, creeps, or hunts. There is no off switch here. And the Demogorgon is a perpetual hunter. And these are carnivores who show no evidence of agriculture, storage, or downtime. So no prey equals starvation. And that's exactly what drives this frantic aggression. There's also no safety, no hierarchy, no comfort. Unlike ants or wolves, there's no sign of formal communities. They don't socialize, they roam alone. And life, this isn't life. This is just a permanent loop that they're stuck in. Now it gets really interesting if we ask ourselves, are the Demogorgons actually thinking creatures? Because what they do show is problem-solving abilities, opening doors, navigating new or strange environments, sensory targeting using sound, blood, and fear responses, and they use tactical violence. Now, they don't show individuality. There's no names, no personalities, no hesitation to the mission at all, which strongly suggests that they have a biological extension to this higher intelligence rather just being independent agents. Which kind of brings us to an even uglier truth, that Demogorgons appear to be living weapons connected to the hive intelligence of the Upside Down, and ultimately tied to Vecna and the Mind Flayer. So this is less of an animal kingdom and more of a biological drone network. They are likely experience very limited autonomy, behavioral compulsion, aggression as programming, not even by choice. So if Vecna thinks, they act. If the Mind Flayer hungers, they feed. So it's not instinct, it's actually more like command to me. And are they evil? Well, yeah, to me, they seem like they're very evil, and the way that they look. But I have to be honest and say, they don't seem to be very sadistic, they don't torture, they never gloat, and they don't seem to hate. They're born into violence, they're trapped in this hostile dimension, and they're used as instruments of ultimate conquest. If anything, they're closer to like an enslaved biological infantry than actual villains. And the horror isn't just that they exist, it's like who made them and for what purpose, because we see how they're actually functioning right now. And what we know, we don't know a lot about the Demogorgons, to be really honest. We have no idea how they reproduce, whether it's natural or some kind of like weird engineering, where they even feel pain beyond just reflex. If they can obey the hive or disobey the hive, it only seems like they are compelled to do whatever they want. So whatever the Upside Down is or was, this is what they became. So we don't know if there was something that they were in the first place. The show keeps the Demogorgons terrifying by not letting them talk, emote, or explain anything. So their silence preserves this fear that they put out. But silence can also hide tragedy, if we're being really honest. And I'm just saying, give it a moment and just think about stuff from the Demogorgon's perspective. They're born in the darkness, they're fed on command, and they killed on sight. Right? It's if they're suffering in the Upside Down, it is not just humans. So if Vecna ever falls, the question then isn't what happens to Hawkins, it's what happens to all the creatures inside of the Upside Down that had absolutely no choice in what's going on. And that's kind of the slant I'm looking at with the Demogorgons. And I know it's hard to look at them that way because of how they look, right? And how they behave, but I think we put a little, gray matter behind it. Like, I think it's a much darker path that the Demogorgons are being forced to march out. And yeah, they're doing their job, they're killing a lot of people, and I'm just saying maybe we